Okay, so the topic that I'm gonna talk about tonight is about listening to the people you serve. And it started, well, I wanted to talk about that because coming from my own experience, when I wanted to help people before, I was coming from what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to do this, or like throw parties and stuff for them, but when I got to know the people better, they tell me what they really want, what their dreams are, and that's where and when I started developing programs from where they're coming from, it started to become more successful because they have ownership over it and they really love what they're doing. So that's what we're doing in Gotthard right now. We collaborate with people and see where they're coming from, what their interests are, what their skills are, what they really want to become, especially with out-of-school youth, what they really want to become when they grow older. So that's where we bring in all of the support that we can. So,
when was the first time na parang this specific experience or lesson you're trying to say is listen to the people you serve? When was this the first time na parang you were able to apply it, and how did it go?
Maybe during the first years of my life in the development work when I was in high school. Before, I just wanted to draw and do artworks and stuff, so I started teaching art to street kids. They liked it, but they realized that their need goes beyond that. They want to go to school, they want to be educated, they want to have jobs to be able to help their families out. So in Gotthard, we started with education, entrepreneurship, and employment.
Okay.
So there.
So where do you, saan yung inaano to? Where do you guys implement these plans right now? Or kung saan-saan na?
We have the youth group from Payatas, and then we have a community in Tarlac, in Batangas, in Palawan, and we have programs with indigenous people around Mindanao.
First person who made you listen, like listening is actually good. Like the first like a street kid who you actually really listen to.
Yeah.
It worked out. If you can cite someone.
I guess the people in Payatas, the youth group, because they're very vocal about what they really want. They get all sorts of donations and projects, but they told us that ate sila naman yun may gusto niyan eh. So parang hindi naman talaga sa amin yan. So I was really, I don't know, it really made me think. Now, when people help, are we helping ourselves, or are we really reaching out to people who need our help? So that's when I started the collaborative way of developing programs. Like when I go to a certain committee, I don't bring any plans or any preconceived notions. I just gather them and ask them what they want, what they need, and then we share our thoughts together and we develop the programs together.
Is it usually easy to listen? Parang
it's really fun to listen because you don't have to think too much. They think for you, and it makes it all worthwhile.
But sometimes, do you have to dig around the clutter, or is there like a specific barrier na minsan hindi kayo makapag-usap ng maayos?
When I can't speak Bisaya, sometimes, but they usually get to, like, what you naman said, they can do context clues, so speak in Tagalog, and they get to learn Bisaya after 2 weeks of staying with them.
What's the most amusing one that you heard from them?
Amusing one? That, sabi nila na, parang, ate, di naman namin kailangan ng donations kasi kaya naman namin magtrabaho. Bigyan nyo na lang kami ng trabaho. So that really touched me because it means that they're really not lazy. They just don't have the opportunity to work. So that's what we're trying to do. It's hard. It's harder than just donating because when you donate, it's done, right? But when you work on entrepreneurship or education or employment, you really have to push people to be better because otherwise their business would fail or they would get fired in their jobs. It's harder, but it's more sustainable.
Does it sometimes bother with you dahil, let's say for example, you studied from a very prominent school, and then talking to people na hindi naman nakapag-aral ng maayos, does it sometimes become a barrier?
No, I'm even more comfortable with them sometimes because they don't have to pretend, or I don't know, they don't have, I don't know, they're just themselves. Usually, I mean, so far, that's how I've experienced it. I've never had much problems about them.
Alright, okay. did you have any parang memorable conversations or?
Especially with indigenous peoples at night, because usually they experience the most discrimination. So my theory is that at night they can't see anyone, they can't see you. They're just themselves, and they tell me about their culture, their traditions, their values, and it's really amazing because a lot of people tell me that they're not educated because they didn't go to formal schooling, but they have passed on knowledge and traditions that a lot of us can learn from today.
Can you share us parang matuto kami. Matuto kami mga ano. Oh.
Okay, there's this one memorable conversation with Timoy Nanding. He's the tribal leader in Subanon. He told us that they only have 4 rules. Because he told us that a lot of people, like in Manila, they have so many lawyers, so many politicians, so many blah blah blah. Diba? So many. So for them, they only have 4 rules. And if it's beyond that rule, they're not gonna do it. So they have 4 questions. One is